Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Stephanie, your double board certified critical care physician who works with physicians that are struggling with their jobs, burnt out with their careers, or who just want some career advice. Through my books, webinars, coaching, and speaking, I help physicians discover alternative jobs and careers in medicine so that they can practice medicine on their own terms. And welcome to a special edition of Let's Talk Tuesday. And today we are going to talk about the best and worst states for doctors in 2018. Now, I know that I'm coming on a little earlier because I'm usually on Tuesday nights at around 8 p.m. Eastern, but I'm on a locums assignment right now. My shift starts in 30 minutes. But I wanted to take the opportunity just to discuss the findings of this study that I found thought was kind of interesting. So I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to share these with you. But I do have a favor. If you are watching this live, just type in the comments. Let me know that you're here. Say hello. Let me know where you're watching me from. If you're watching me on replay, type replay. If you like my comments, press the like button. If you love it, press the love button. And please feel free to share this with anybody that you think may find this interesting. Now, there was a study that was released quite recently by the personal finance website Wallet Hub, and they looked at 16 key metrics in all 50 states and in DC involving physicians, and they came up with a list of the best and worst states for doctors and the best and worst states to practice medicine in 2018. So according to the results of this study, the most physician-friendly states are South Dakota and Nebraska. And the least physician-friendly states are Rhode Island and New Jersey. And this seems to match with a couple of other studies that I have read that basically states that the states that are in Middle America, the Midwest, Great Plains, are more friendly, have more friendly physician policies than other states that are along both of the coastlines and in highly densely populated areas. So the most physician-friendly states are South Dakota and Nebraska, and the least physician-friendly states are Rhode Island and New Jersey. Now, in terms of pay, the highest paying states, according to the cost of living, are Mississippi and South Dakota, and the lowest paying states adjusted for cost of living include Hawaii and DC, and that makes perfect sense. So in states that have low cost of living, your physician salary is going to go much further. In states that have high cost of living, because they're heavily populated and lots of people want to live there, your wages are going to be much lower. So the highest paying states in terms of adjusting for cost of living are Mississippi and South Dakota, and of course the lowest wages are in Hawaii and DC, and that of course is not surprising based on the people that I've talked to in terms of their salaries and based on where they live. Now, the highest malpractice rates are found in New York, with the lowest malpractice rates being, once again, in South Dakota and Nebraska. So are we seeing a trend here, people, in terms of metrics and quality of life? It seems that the Dakotas are coming in top in terms of being a great place to practice medicine, and some of the other states that are highly densely populated, that are highly sought after to live in, are states that maybe have some work to do in terms of working on some things to make it better for physicians to practice medicine. Now, according to the study by Wallet Hub, the top 10 best states for physicians are South Dakota, Nebraska, Idaho, Iowa, Wisconsin, Kansas, Montana, North Dakota, and Wyoming. So we see this pattern here, middle America, middle of the country are best places to practice medicine. The coast, not too much. So like I said, the 10 best states to practice medicine are South Dakota, Nebraska, Idaho, Iowa, Montana, Wisconsin, Kansas, Minnesota, Nebraska, North Dakota, and Wyoming. And the 10 worst states for doctors are Florida, California, Maryland, Oregon, Massachusetts, DC, Hawaii, New York, Rhode Island, and New Jersey. Now, according to this study, the states that pay the highest salaries are Mississippi, South Dakota. So are we seeing a pattern here? The Dakotas are ranking top high in all of these categories in terms of cost of living, wages, being a physician-friendly state. So, hey, North Dakota and South Dakota is looking pretty good right now. So the highest paid states in terms of physician salaries include Mississippi, South Dakota, Iowa, Georgia, and Tennessee. Now, the states with the lowest paying, that pay the lowest salaries are Oregon, California, New York, Hawaii, and DC. And that just makes sense. A lot of people want to live there. There's a lot of competition. They don't have to be that competitive with the physician salaries, so they pay lower. The most competitive states in terms of physicians vying for jobs: Massachusetts, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and DC. So, hey, East Coast, people want to live there. The least competitive states: Idaho, Alaska, Nevada, Mississippi, and South Dakota. So that's not that much of a surprise as well. But as you know, the states that have the lower amounts of competition, the least amount of physicians trying to move there and competing for jobs, are also the states that pay the highest amount of money. So, it's this ratio, this inverse ratio. So it's like the places in which are places that a lot of people want to live, and places that are more competitive don't have to pay as much. So, you just have to decide what's important for you when you are working. And for my young physicians that are just starting out and are looking for jobs, you have to kind of decide what's important for you in terms of your job search, whether or not you want to live in a, big city, in a great place, and, that has all of the advantages and the amenities of living in an urban area. But you do have to know that you're going to trade that off for high cost of living and lower salaries, as opposed to maybe if you are more concerned with really wanting to maximize your income potential and do what you can to pay off these student loans, then you might want to consider moving to a state that is a little more rural, has a lower population, less competition for physicians, but pay higher. And let's talk about student loan debt. According to WalletHub, the average student loan debt as of 2017, the average physician in 2017, graduating from medical school, walked away with $190,000 worth of debt. So you're looking at, $200,000 worth of debt. And I know we all want to get out of debt as soon as possible. So you may need to refine your job search for places that have a lower cost of living and a higher salary, at least for the first couple of years, so you can really make a dent in paying down your loans, if that is something that is very important to you. Now, in terms of punitive medical boards, according to WalletHub, the least punitive medical boards are in Maine, DC, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Hawaii. And the most punitive state medical boards are found in Nevada, Ohio, Wyoming, Kentucky, and Delaware. Now, in terms of the lowest malpractice award payouts, these states have the lowest amounts, which are Wisconsin, North Dakota, South Dakota, North Carolina, and Texas. And the states with the highest malpractice payouts are Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New York, New Jersey, and New Hampshire. Now, the states with the least expensive malpractice premiums, which, this is something that we all have to take into consideration, are North Dakota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Kansas. And the most expensive malpractice premiums are found in West Virginia, DC, Michigan, Illinois, and New York. So what are you to do? What does this mean? Like I said, this information is good information to have when it comes to searching for jobs, when it comes to kind of figuring out what's important to you in terms of your life, especially if you're just starting out your career, you're just starting out your job search. It's very important that you decide where you want to live, what's important to you. You want to live in an urban area with lots of amenities and lots of things that can be offered culturally and socially. There's going to be a trade-off from these places because, these are places that a lot of people want to live. So therefore, there's lots of competition for jobs and the pay is not going to be as great. Whereas if you want to live in a place that has a lower cost of living, that has more physician jobs available and the jobs pay more, then you might want to consider some of the areas in rural, some of the jobs in rural areas, some of the jobs in, middle America, so to speak, in some of the places that we that we talked about. But what if you want the best of both worlds? What if you want to live in, one of these places and you really don't, want to move, you like where you live, you're not too happy with your job, or, maybe if you're just dead set on living in a big city, but at the same time, you really can't afford to live there, uh, and you want to work somewhere in which you can maximize your income earning potential. Well, what I would recommend in those situations is to consider locums, because locums will give you the best of both worlds. I have do locums and I love it. I live in Houston, Texas, which is a wonderful place to live in, but it's not the most competitive market for critical care in terms of pay. So therefore, I do locums, and I'm currently doing locums in West Virginia, which I absolutely love. I absolutely love coming to West Virginia because the jobs are excellent here. The people are very nice, and I found having really good locums assignment. I have a good friend who lives in the Miami, Florida area, who does locums in South Dakota, and no, actually in North Dakota. And based on the results of this study, North Dakota is one of the best places to practice medicine. So you can have the best of both worlds. You can live in a great area that really makes you happy and, satisfies all the things in life that you need socially. But then you can also get on a plane, go on a work assignment, do a locums assignment, and go to some really nice places that are really nice places to work. So locums to me is the best of both worlds. And if you find yourself in a situation in which you kind of love where you live, but you're really not happy with your job, and you're really not happy with the job market in the places that you live, then locums would be something for you to consider. So therefore, I am offering some free locums training because so many people are so interested in locums, and they want to know, what is the best thing to do? How do they get started? They kind of want to dip their toe into the water before they decide to make a plunge. So I am offering free locums training with my Locums 101 webinar. Now, here's the thing. This webinar has limited seating. It's going to be on Monday, April 16th. So I need you to register today. I need you to register for my free locums training, my Locums 101 webinar at www.locums101.com, www.locums101.com. I need you to register today because I will tell you in that webinar the top 5 things that you need to learn, that you need to do in order to get started as a locums doctor. This is Dr. Stephanie. Thank you for joining me. I will talk to you soon, and bye-bye.